It started with a text that made my stomach drop. I was sitting on the couch, half watching some mindless show, when my phone buzzed. I barely recognized the number. Her phone, locked with a password I didn't know. The message was short, almost casual. Don't worry about tonight. Everything's fine. See you later. It wasn't the text itself. It was a feeling it left behind, a tight knot of unease I couldn't shake. My wife, Emily, had told me about the company party weeks ago. She was excited, her first major corporate event after the promotion she'd worked so hard for. I'd smiled, genuinely happy for her, and reminded her to enjoy herself. But something in that text, it didn't feel right. The evening started normally enough. I drove her to the hotel hosting the party, told her I'd see her later, and watched her disappear into the crowd of sharply dressed colleagues. But as I drove home, my mind spun. I should have been proud, but instead, there was this gnawing worry that I couldn't place. A few days later, the signs started creeping in. Missed calls from her during odd hours, vague excuses about staying late at work, sudden secretiveness with her phone. At first, I told myself I was imagining things. Maybe she was just busy. Maybe I was being paranoid. But then the little details began piling up. The faint scent of someone else's cologne on her scarf, the smile she tried too hard to hide, the way she would stiffen when I reached for her phone casually lying on the counter. I tried to ignore it. I didn't want to be that husband, constantly suspicious, the one who couldn't trust the person he loved. But the more I pushed it down, the more it festered. My nights became restless. I found myself replaying moments from the party in my head. How she had laughed a little too freely at a joke. How she had leaned in close to someone I couldn't quite see through the crowd. Then I saw it. It was a message I wasn't supposed to see, accidentally left open on her phone when she'd stepped into the kitchen. My heart pounded as I read. Can't wait to see you again tonight. Last time was unforgettable. No name, no context, but the tone was unmistakable. I felt sick. I wanted to throw the phone across the room, to scream, to run away, to call her, but I froze. My mind ran through every memory of Emily I had. Every laugh, every touch, every promise. Had it all been a lie? I couldn't bring myself to confront her immediately. I had to be sure. So I watched, quietly, waiting for a confirmation I wasn't ready to face. And then it came, in a way that broke what little calm I had left. A colleague tagged her in a photo from the party on social media. She was close, so close, to her CEO, a man I'd always assumed was nothing more than a professional mentor. She was laughing, leaning into him as if he was the only person in the room, her hand brushing his arm. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't innocent. It was intimate, and it hurt like fire. I didn't call her that night. I sat on the couch, staring at that photo, tried to reconcile the woman I love with the image on my screen. I thought about all the moments we'd shared, the way she used to look at me, the promises whispered in the quiet of our apartment. Were those lies, too? Or was this something I was never meant to understand? The confrontation was inevitable. The next evening, I waited until she came home, pretending I hadn't seen a thing. She smiled, kissed my cheek, asked about my day, and I lost it. I saw the photo. I said, voice shaking more than I'd intended. At the party, you and him. She froze, and for a moment I thought I might collapse. Her eyes, wide and guilty, refused to meet mine. Then the words came, quiet but heavy. It wasn't supposed to happen. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I wanted to shout, to cry, to shake her until she remembered who she was to me. But instead, I just listened, the silence of our apartment pressing down. She spoke of loneliness, of admiration for someone who seemed to understand her in ways I couldn't at work. She didn't try to justify it, but she didn't deny it either. And in that, I felt a hollow ache of betrayal I couldn't ignore. I left the apartment that night. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I just walked into the cold night and let the air fill the space she had hollowed out inside me. The days that followed were a quiet reckoning. Memories became painful relics. The small jokes we shared, the coffee she used to make, every detail now carried a sting. Eventually, I realized that love wasn't enough to bridge the gap between us anymore. I packed a bag, left her a note that was heavy with truth, but free of blame. No theatrics, no accusations, just the facts of my heartbreak and my decision to reclaim myself. Walking out, I felt a strange mix of grief and liberation. I loved her once, deeply, and part of me always would. But I couldn't stay where trust had been broken so fundamentally. Life would go on, messy and painful, but I carried with me a quiet strength I hadn't known I possessed. The betrayal left scars, yes, but it also taught me something invaluable. That self-respect is born in the moments you choose yourself over the lies of someone you once trusted completely.